Hello and welcome. This is Abhinav. This is part two in the series of a situation where you have failed to disclose your Indian income or assets in the US. So, what are the options? The part one was a kind of an overview video where I talked in general about these points and the options that are available. So in that regard, I'm talking about one of the options that is available with respect to non-willful disclosures. So in case of non-willful disclosures, you have delinquent filing procedures and streamlined filing procedures. And in case of willful disclosure, you have the criminal investigation voluntary disclosure program. So in this part two, I'm talking about the delinquent filing procedures for FBAR and the IRS provisions on the delinquent filing for FBAR and the foreign information returns. Right. Okay. So delinquent FBAR procedures. So first, let's talk about the eligibility of these procedures. Now, the eligibility, what the IRS says is that the taxpayers have disclosed the income from foreign assets in their tax returns and who do not need to use either the IRS criminal investigative voluntary disclosure practice or the streamlined filing compliance procedures to file the delinquent or amended returns to report and pay additional tax. So the eligibility requirement here is that it's only the FBAR that you have not filed, right? If you so basically, what is the requirement? If you're a US person holding foreign assets above a certain threshold, which is 10,000 USD, in a particular year, then you at any time in the particular year you need to file the FBAR report in the BSA filing system, which is basically going to the US Treasury Department. Now, basically, if the point here is that if you have disclosed the income, so you have like investments from shares or mutual funds. Let's make it simple, like shares, and you have capital gain income and dividend income that you have disclosed in your tax returns, right? And properly you have disclosed. Only the FBAR you have not maybe included, or you have not filed the FBAR at all, and the the value of the foreign assets crosses the threshold for FBAR purposes, then you can file the delinquent FBAR procedures. You do not need to go for streamlined filing or criminal investigation, right? It's just a non-willful mistake from your end in not filing the FBAR. You were not aware of this requirement, so you can go and file the delinquent FBAR FBAR on the BSA filing system, which is an electronic filing that you have to do, right? So the eligibility is that you have disclosed the income in the tax returns on those assets. It's only the FBAR that you have not filed. Then you are not under a civil examination or a criminal investigation by the IRS. And it is not only with respect to the FBAR, it's a general thing that if you are under any civil examination or criminal investigation, then you cannot take benefit of this facility. You have not already been contacted by the IRS about the delinquent FBARs or returns. With respect to the delinquent FBARs or returns, you have not been contacted. If you satisfy these conditions, then you are eligible. What action you need to take is that you can just go on the BSA e-filing system, file the delinquent FBAR electronically, and you can mention the reason of filing late. Whatever be the reason that you can mention, ensure that it is non-willful, right? It doesn't kind of show that it was a willful. It's a basically it was a non-willful thing. Then you can mention it was a non-willful delay from my end in the filing. No penalty if the income from those assets was properly reported and tax was paid on that income. So if the income was properly reported, tax was paid on that income in your tax return, US tax returns, then there will be no penalty by the IRS on the delayed filing of the FBARs. So that is the provision for delinquent FBARs. Delinquent means delay, not filed the FBAR for a particular year, and now you decide to file. Now let's come to delinquent foreign information returns. Now, FBAR is only one of the foreign information returns. So other returns generally which are like attached to the tax return, like 8938, plus there are other returns like 5471, 8621, which generally are part of the tax return. So, what will be the procedure if you have failed to file those returns? So, eligibility is taxpayers who have not filed international information returns. They are not under a civil examination or a criminal investigation by the IRS. They have not already been contacted by the IRS about the delinquent information returns. If these three conditions are fulfilled, then the action is that you file the delinquent information returns through the normal filing procedures. So, for example, whatever is the form 8621, you go in the instructions to form 8621. What is the requirement? You just go ahead and file as per the normal filing procedures, nothing separate that you need to do. Now, all delinquent IRS says that all delinquent international information returns other than Form 3520 or 3520A should be 3520 is the basically form to receive the gifts or bequests in excess of, I think, USD 1 lakh USD. So all the information returns other than 3520 3520A should be attached to an amended return. So basically you have like filed the return, and you have not disclosed, you have not submitted the form 8938, which is the FATCA reporting. So now what you have to do is that you have to amend your return, and you have to file the FATCA report 8938, attach that 8938 along with that, and any other reports that you missed, you attach and amend the return and file it accordingly. 3520 and 3520A have to be filed in accordance with the applicable instructions that are given for those forms. So you can check out the applicable instructions given by the IRS in the IRS publications and file accordingly. Now, here what you can do is that now that you are filing a delinquent, you can attach. It says taxpayers may, right? But highly advisable to attach a reasonable cost statement to each delinquent information return, where you basically assert that this was the reasonable cost due to which there was a delay from my end, so that you can attach a reasonable cost statement. Now, penalties may be assessed. Now, what IRS says that in this case, penalties can still be assessed by the IRS without considering the reasonable cause statement. Maybe that those returns go through the normal filing procedures, so that the penalties can still get triggered. However, then the taxpayer has to resubmit the reasonable cause. So already at the time of filing the amended return, uh, you you attach the reasonable cost statement, but it may be a case that there may be again a penalty notice from the IRS, and you have to resubmit the reasonable cost statement. So that is again, it's like a way where you are saying that okay, it was a mistake, I was not aware, there was a reasonable cause attached to this non-filing of the report, and even if the penalty is assessed, you can again file the reasonable cause statement. So that is a better way as compared to like a making a quiet disclosure, which is not legal as per the IRS. IRS can come back and say that since you have not filed these information returns, whatever are the applicable penalties per year, you'll need to pay those. As compared to that, filing a kind of a delinquent foreign information return by way of amending the returns, the tax returns, is, in my view, a better way, right? Okay, so this was about delinquent FBARs and foreign information returns. In the part 3, and that part 3 will be important, part 3 talks about the streamlined domestic or the foreign offshore procedures, which many people can take advantage, which involves us paying a small penalty and regularizing your affairs. So do watch out for that video. To share your thoughts, queries in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video.